we received a lot on this topic, which I really didn't expect it to blow up the way it did. So on our Facebook group page, we asked the question to take a video game title and turn it into a porno title. But the trick here was the less vulgar it is, the better. Which, I mean, I was surprised because I was expecting it to go horribly wrong, and we ended up getting kicked off of Facebook. But it actually turned out pretty great, so I must say that I'm pleased. Were you pleased with the results, Ignacio?
Well, yeah, I was surprised, especially. We're gonna mention names.
Hey, go for it. Yeah, go for it, man. Just do it.
Well, William Volk, you have a creative mind. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. So throughout the show, we're gonna be talking about some of these names. Let me read off a couple. So one of the first ones that we got was BioShocker, which I guess is like the Shaka, like that. That's that'd be great. It'd be like the
Well,
the Big
think
Daddy
about it.
trying to do that, like.
It's like it's a reference to an orgasm, basically.
Yeah. Well,
By the way, we're doing this on Valentine's Day. This is our Valentine's Day episode.
Yes, happy Valentine's Day. At least Ignacio has a lady in the background. I don't keep them in my house.
Damn, dude, what are you, a pimp?
Hey, I didn't say that. This is being recorded, so come on.
Oh, okay, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, let's not get this twisted. Another contributor wrote in Horcraft 2 Red Tides of Darkness. Now, the beginning, I didn't have a problem with it.
No.
It's the second part, Red Tides of Darkness. I mean, we already have a college football team called the Crimson Tide, and now we have Red Tides of Darkness. I don't like the visual that brings up, but yeah, that kind of. I mean, he even said that he thought it's a fetish video, niche audience.
Oh.
That's a fucked up niche audience. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah. Well, you gotta know your marketing,
Yeah. Let's see. What else we have? We have Rise of the Tomb Raider, Darkest Dungeon. Okay.
Well, Darkest Dungeon is already a fetish video.
Oh, and how, you know this how?
Come on, dude.
Oh, hey, I'm trying to get educated here too.
You gotta be educated.
Oh, okay. All right.
You gotta do some field research.
I just like one of them wrote in just Donkey Kong, which is the actual name. But yeah, if you think about it, yeah. I mean, the Japanese, man, they know what they're doing with the Donkey Kong.
Oh, they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so we're going to read more of these. Thanks to everybody who goes to our Facebook group and contributes. I mean, it's been great. A lot of you have come in. Some of you guys didn't understand why you were there. We had to help you out in the only way that we can. But thanks
trolling.
for all the... Yeah, we're trolling. Yes, that's pretty much yes. But thanks to everybody who is giving us all this great content and answering our questions. We're going to continue to do that. But another one of our contributors brought up a good point that we wanted to talk on, and they were talking about like the span of how games is. And this, if you're into gaming, you're probably going to end up reading some kind of gaming message board comments, maybe Reddit or something like that, and you'll see like people complaining. Well, we all know that gamers in general are just going to end up complaining about things because that's just what gamers do.
Especially if it's on Reddit, basically.
Oh yeah, Reddit is like, it's like 99% just complaining. I mean, good lord. But you have people will talk about, oh, something's the worst ever, or this is a bad time in gaming because of certain things. Maybe they're upset because of the way Xbox launched, or they're upset about downloadable content or something like that. But sometimes what happens is, especially if you're an older gamer, you get into these ideas where back in the day was better and it was so great and now it's so horrible. And I think what happens is people put on those little rose-colored glasses and forget what it's like. It's like when I think about EverQuest. I mean, back in the day I had a lot of fun playing that game, but let's face it, a bunch of the time you're sitting there just in a room waiting for a spawn.
For shit.
Yeah, and then it may not spawn, or I'll spawn a placeholder, and then even if it does spawn, it may not drop what it's supposed to do. Could you imagine people putting up with that today? But if you talk about it back then, it's like, oh, that was great.
Well, yeah, I mean, pretty much what they don't remember is they don't remember the waiting, except of like, oh man, remember waiting, but it was okay because we were talking, about shit on TeamSpeak or Ventrilo for a while, and it's like, yeah, that was the part that made it manageable. But if you have to do that shit by yourself, you might as well take out a gun and blow your brains out.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is that there's so many games that came out back in the day, even game systems where you didn't have the access that you have now to just be like, oh, let me look at, and you can look at this gameplay video, you can read the review, you can learn so much about the game before you actually get it and get a demo. I mean, think about back in the day when you didn't have that, there was no demos. I mean, remember back in the day, you would actually go, and this is more for computer people, but you would go and you would buy a magazine that had demos in it, and that was like one of the major reasons why you bought it, because you would get that demo, and you were like, "Oh my god, I got this!" I mean, people would like hold it up like it was a trophy, so they could get those. And some of the demos were like, eh, and every once in a while you'd get a good one. I mean, I guess I kind of missed that a little bit, just because that was kind of fun getting it, but in the end, I mean, how much were those back then? Like $4.50, which was expensive if you think about it.
Yeah, but a game was also expensive.
That's true.
And well, also think about this. I mean, if you want to look at that regarding the consoles, people could get Nintendo Power, but then like, probably Nintendo Power gave something like Castlevania 2, like I don't know, like a 90% or something.
Yeah, you think.
And then you're playing and you're like, what the fuck? What a horrible night to have a curse. Well, fuck you too.
Yeah, you think that they were just a little bit biased? I mean, just a little bit. I mean, I think so. I mean, think about back in the day when you had Blockbuster and you would go rent a game from Blockbuster and you would look at the back cover, and I mean, it wasn't even always representative of what the game was like. So you would look at the back cover and you'd be like, this looks like it's good, but it'll be like artwork. It's like some of those old Atari cartridges that they didn't have gameplay. It was just artwork, and you're like, wow, Yar's Revenge. Look at that cool looking like insect alien thing, and you get it home and it's like, eh, 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 eh. Yeah. I've been fooled too many times by Blockbuster, man.
Never trust marketing. That's what you need to learn when you were a kid.
Especially back in the day when the game was based off of like a movie or something else, or like a TV show or a cartoon, and you're thinking to yourself like, oh man, it's gonna be great. I remember I got what was it, the X-Men and Spider-Man, I think it was Arcadia's Revenge or something like that, and oh my god, that game was a piece of shit. I mean, they reviewed it on Angry Video Game Nerd, and it was shitty. And the problem is that you had no recourse. Maybe if you were lucky, you could quickly rip it out of your Nintendo and run back to Blockbuster and beg the attendant to give you back your or trade in for another one. But
if they were nice, they would just do it in 5 minutes, and that's it. You were out of there. Yeah. But I mean, a lot of people that get like this craziness with nostalgia, they don't realize that it's probably wasn't as good as you remember it to be. You only remember the good parts. You don't remember any of the bad parts. Usually, when you have a memory about something that you cherish like that. But also think about this. It's like if you want to complain, oh yeah, you remember back in the old days we used to get together and do LANs and and we would all play, and it's like hello. We're in the fucking age of the internet. We've been in the age of the internet for like the past 20 years already. Fuck, even people with BBSs could, you could play, multiple people play Doom together. Just everybody sitting in their underwear at home. But pretty much what from another topic that people were talking about in the Facebook group, it's like, yeah, if you had that same group of friends and they had the same amount of willpower back then to be a gamer compared to today, because it's like, they're going to give some bullshit excuse like, oh, well, I can't play now because I'm married. And it's like, what the fuck? What, like you have to ask your wife for permission or your husband for permission to play a fucking game now?
AFK married.
AFK married. AFK for life. There, we should make a T-shirt for that. But I mean, there's games now that if you want to say, oh yeah, you could play Doom with like all your friends on over modem. There's games now you could play like 100 fucking people over the internet. Everybody playing from home.
Well,
why don't you play with your friends? Because I can't play. I can't play all the time. I'm too busy watching fucking Friends or something. I don't know.
Or people complain about costs nowadays. It's like, okay, I understand that when you have someone coming out with 1 million downloadable content and the game was just released, it can piss you off. But consider, and again, this is for more for PC people, consider back in the day, people would sell demos and they didn't realize, the people that bought it didn't realize that you could get it for free if you went, like if you could find it somewhere else. For instance, Doom. I remember seeing the Doom demo on sale at Best Buy way back in the day for like, I think it was $9.99 or $7.99 or something like that. And I'm like, wow, people are buying these demos.
Yeah, people were buying the Chapter 1 shareware, and they don't realize that like you could have just gotten that off of BBS for free. And like legally, you could have gotten it. Not even like pirated. And then if you wanted to buy it through the game, because, you know, that was like one of the first games that pretty much, you know, had the shareware system. It said it in the fucking game. Like, oh, if you like this, if you want to play more chapters for this game, call this number and you can order over the phone. And, you know, we'll give you a code or we'll tell you where to connect to download the rest of the game. Yeah. And that was fucking, how many years ago now? Like 1992, 1993?
Damn, I feel so old now. Except when I read more of these things like Ass Effect.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
I guess an Ass Effect would be a fart.
Well, I don't want to watch that video. I think they had that at a Red Eye once. That was terrible.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of our good friend William Vogt, he turned in Return to Polk.
Well, he worked on Return to Zork, so
yeah, so
he's allowed to troll his own game.
I wonder if he was secretly working on that. He's like, hey, I wonder if I could get this released. Never mind. I'm gonna move on. I submitted Double D Dragon because I just thought that was great. I mean, did anybody else pause the game when, like, in the beginning of Double Dragon when they knocked the chick out and then she like kind of did that little dip and you're like, oh, is that pixelated booty bees? You're like, no, only me. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine Double D Dragon is a movie about large-breasted Asian women.
Yeah, I guess so. Like was it Lady with the Dragon Tattoo? It'd be like a spin-off.
Well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, understood that people can say that they're upset about certain aspects of the gaming community today. But again, you know, if anybody was around during the NES times, looking to buy something back then, I mean, you were bombarded so bad. I mean, you think that there's so much comic book movies and comic book television shows. Imagine going to a gas station and you saw video games for Nintendo. You saw accessories for Nintendo, and they were all pretty shitty. I mean, when you're buying a game in a gas station, you just can't have that expectation of excellent quality. I remember I bought like a little controller thing. Like, you know how you have the not the D-pads, analog sticks that you have now on every controller. Well, they sold like this plastic thing that had these two little thumb-sized joysticks on it, and it was like you would clap it on top of the NES controller, and that was supposed to let you have like a thumbstick controls.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I think that thing was like $9.99, but it should have been in the dollar store because it was like a cheap ass piece of plastic that just, I mean, I don't think it lasted one Mario session. I think I was playing Mario with it and it just broke. It just shattered in my hands, and I'm like,
well, let me explain something to you, because maybe you're not remembering since we're getting old. That shit should have been in the dollar store, but guess what?
Mm.
Dollar stores weren't around when that first came out.
Oh, that's right. Jesus.
We're getting old.
They would have had a whole wing for Nintendo accessories in the dollar store. It would have just been an entire wing of it, and you just go in there and you just buy all these.
Oh god. I mean, that's for some reason in my mind it's the same category of shit. So if you go to like Walgreens at 3 a.m. and you look at their electronics area, like right by where you pay, they have all these fake consoles.
You know, for a while you had that with game cards. Like people still use game cards, but I don't know. Whenever someone tells me, "Oh, I use a game card because I don't have a credit card," I'm like, "Seriously, you don't have a credit card? Like a debit card?" They give those to anybody.
Well, basically, most of the time, the people that I've seen that use game cards are like little kids, and like their parents or grandparents give them those game cards if they happen to care enough that they know that that kid plays that game.
Yeah.
The only thing I could tell you that I saw a lot with those game cards is like, I mean, now there's game cards that are specific for those games that like those companies eventually figured out that like, yeah, apparently people use game cards to buy content, and they do those game cards directly. But you remember back then, maybe like 10 years ago, that there were game cards that were just generic game cards that you could use on almost any game. Like, you remember how most of those companies went out of business?
Yes.
I mean, I even used one. I think the first time that I played World of Tanks, I used one because, like, you know, my friend Christian from Brazil was always telling me, "Bro, you gotta play World of Tanks," and I was like, "Man, what the fuck? Like, some Russian company makes this shit? I'm not gonna give them my credit card information. This is a scam, dude."
They're trying to do like a Bitcoin thing almost, where it's like all the points.
Well, now they are.
Yeah, it would go across like other games. And it'd be like, oh, you could use these points in this. You know where they did that a lot for? Facebook games. You would have one card that you could use to buy in like 10 or 12 Facebook games, and
well, it's a smart idea, except when, you know, people are like looking at it and they're like, this is kind of shady. You know, like, wait, you want me to what? You want me to wire how much money to Nigeria bank? Yes, you are the president of of Madagascar.
Just give me 5,000 and I'll give you 12 million, because you know that's exactly how it works.
It's a great exchange ratio.
You know what was also terrible back in the day is you could go to some computer stores a little bit later on, and you would find a bargain bin, and you would find, you know, some decent games in there sometimes. Like I remember getting like Duke Nukem 3D and like the original Warcraft RTS game out of a bundle bin. But for consoles, it usually wasn't that great. Like you'd go to the bargain bin for consoles and it might be like $19.99, which wasn't that much of a bargain, but considering the games are like 50 or 60, it was. Yeah. But the games would all be shitty. Like it would be like Sesame Street Baseball or something like that.
Fuck.
And you're so desperate. And you know, the worst part about it is that it'd have a big sign that says $19.99. So after your parents saw that shit, they didn't want to go buy the really cool game for $49.99. They're like, get your ass in that bin, and you better pull out a winner. And you're like, yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of them buying you the Atari ET game. And you're like, fuck this. Well, a lot of the time, I know, I was like a curious kid, so I would look around. Like when I was young, I would go to like a place that you wouldn't expect them to fucking sell video games, and I'm like, what do they sell? Like, what the fuck do you expect them to sell? So I would go to like TJ Maxx or some fucking place that you're like, what? You sell video games?
Yeah.
Or like Sears sometimes would not sell video games for like a while, other than like maybe like NES or something, when like that was really popular. you know, like when they initially started pushing it a lot and they were selling it a lot. But there was a point where they sold no video games whatsoever. And I remember they had like this really small VIN that sold computer games, and it was like the most fucking random shit. Because it's like, okay, here's a fucking game for like an Atari computer. Here's a game for like Spectrum. Here's a game for like an IBM PC, and here's an Amiga game, and here's a Commodore 64 game, and it's like,
It's like Electronic
what?
Boutique Store went out of business and just dumped all their shit on Sears' door.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like, what the fuck? And sometimes it was like the most obscure shit that like I never heard of ever again. Like even when I did research later on the internet, like I had to put like really specific things just to be able to find it, just to download like a ROM image of it or some fucking shit.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what kind of parents you had, you were just lucky to come out of the gaming store with anything. And this was before you even had the Funko Lands or the GameStops that you could get used games or something like that. So if your parents weren't up to paying retail price, then the best you could hope for was getting one of those bargain games. And yeah, I remember I got like, it was weird. It was like some kind of like space looking game, and I think it was called like Spaceware or something like that, and it looked all cool. I had like a picture of this intergalactic spaceship, and it looked like it was being attacked by all these aliens, and it was an NES game. And I got it home, and I swear it had the same kind of graphics that you would get from the Atari 2600. It's like an itty bitty little ship, and like it was really hard too. That was the worst part. It wasn't just shitty. It was hard. So as soon as I get in the game, it's like you get blown up. It reminds me of some of those Commodore 64 and Amiga games back in the day where you'd be a soldier, but the enemies you went up against were super hard, and it was one bullet you would die, and you're like,
oh, no, yeah,
what the fuck?
bro, violence is bad, kids.
Dragon's Peer.
Oh god.
That just.
Well, how
that sounds
about
terrible.
How about all those fucking horrible limited edition games that they would make for, you know, sometimes they would distribute them through like fast food.
Oh god.
You know what? You know what I'm talking about, because I know you have those Burger King games. I fucking know it.
I burned that shit, bro. I'm sorry, man. I couldn't accept that.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go on eBay and buy you that shit again.
Oh god, my birthday's coming up too, so I don't want that.
And
shit.
I'm gonna executive order you to fucking record it for the channel.
Well, the Burger King.
The Burger
Like,
the racing game.
What if you were one of those people back in the day who tried to get on the forefront, and you were lucky enough to get someone like the Magnavox CDI or something like that, and you're thinking to yourself, "Oh my God, look, I'm ahead of the game. You guys go ahead with your Nintendo 64s and your PlayStation 1s. I got
I'm
the
not
CDI.
mainstream. I got the most obscure shit ever.
I get to play those, those licensed out Zelda games that had nothing to do with Link or the Legend of Zelda." Like,
that shit like look worse than a porn parody of if they had made a hentai of Zelda.
Well, the CDI, the thing that drew you into that is that was during the whole span of the full motion video live action games. So what would happen is you would look at something like maybe Wing Commander or Red Alert, and you're like, oh well, look at this. This also has actors, and oh man, I gotta wonder. This is what we should try to do for one of the Obsolete Gamer shows, is see if we can get some of those actors, because man, that's gotta be the bottom barrel of acting. Like, as soon as you fall out of that job, you go directly to porn.
No, not even. It's like they wouldn't take me for porn as an extra. So I'm doing Night Trap or some fucking shit.
I mean, man,
but just think about this: the fucking commercial for the CDI, wasn't it the make your own music shit with Marky Mark and CNC Music Factory?
Oh yes.
Chris Cross.
Yeah.
Nobody
was jumping when they got the CDI.
Oh god. Yeah, I'm buying an entire system just to make a custom music video of marking Mark, and then I'm gonna cut scenes from those gay guys in the CNC Music Factory.
You know, another thing that is, man, you know, the other day, I actually was watching, man, what channel? It was one of those really shitty cable channels, like the Reels channel or something that they just
Yeah.
came up with a couple of years ago, and now, like, originally it was supposed to show things very specific to one subject, and then they realized nobody wants to watch that shit, so they start
Yeah.
playing reruns of Cops or something like G4 TV did,
Oh,
and they actually had a commercial for a 1-900 number, and I'm like, they still have that shit? Like, who is calling a 1-900 number in the age of free online porn? Like, you
yeah.
really have to, like, something's got to be wrong with you, unless you're just, like, trolling your boss. So you're at work and you're just like, hey, I'm going to dial this 1-800 number or 1-900 number just because fuck it. I mean, damn. And it made me think about when you used to actually have to call those numbers for tips. Remember when they had the hints and tip line? And the funniest part
Yeah.
is they had two versions. They had one version where it was a recording. So you would like speak, or no, it wasn't even good enough for speaking. I think you had to punch it on your phone, like the first couple of letters of the game, and then you'd have to play around with it a couple of times because it keep picking the wrong game. And then it would play a recording of any known cheat codes. And you would have to like write it down while they're
Really
talking to you. Yeah, because after that it's like thank you, goodbye.
But
And you have to call back.
It would cycle all of them, but it's like, would you like to hear this again? And it's like, what the fuck? I have to hear this shit for like, let's say it's 5 minutes long, and you have to hear it for like 4 minutes just to hear that one code you needed.
And it's like it'll be like a shitty game before, and you're like, it's like if you want the code to make all the characters pink, it is ABXX. You're like, I don't want that shit. I want the unlimited lives code, and that's like the last code, and you're paying like $1.99 a minute.
Hey, look, for those people that say the good old days were good, you remember those games that didn't have saving, that would give you a fucking code that was like 20 digits long, and it wasn't even like letters. It was special symbols, like fucking Egyptian symbols from pharaohs and shit. And you're like, wait, is this a fucking eyeball with an arrow through it, or is this I don't know, a cat holding a bow?
Yeah, and
I don't know.
I swear, and they troll you too, because what would happen is while you're trying to write it down, you start to realize that a lot of codes look similar. So this one has 2 lines and an X and an O, and the other one has 2 lines, an X, and then another line. You're like, wait a minute, is that like the other one that is 3 lines, the X and an O? And if you were playing the old game, I remember, man, this is how I broke my first NES with Metal Gear. They had the numbers, but the problem was the glitch in that game when it got dirty would actually switch the numbers. It's not like it just went completely black or it was all garbled and you were like, fuck, it's garbled. No, it would switch the fucking numbers. So then you were writing like 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, and all of a sudden, and it's like a whole new set of numbers. And if you try and like wiggle around the cartridge, hoping it'll fix it, nope, you froze your game.
No, that's it. You destroyed it.
That and when I had the original Zelda with the little watch battery in it, and then I went on vacation and it went through the metal detector and the X-ray machine.
Cooked the battery.
Yeah. Well, it didn't cook it. The game still worked fine and even saved, but it wiped. So when I got, because I took my NES with me because I was like, I knew this trip was gonna be boring as shit. So I was like, let me make sure that I pack this, and I get there, and it's like, what happened to my game? I swear I was like right before, getting to Ganon, and it's like all gone. I mean, people don't have to worry about this shit now. I mean, I understand that everything ain't perfect, but man, you guys gotta remember, it wasn't all good back in the day. I mean, damn, remember when you had to fight between? I mean, they talk about console wars now.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I remember when Mortal Kombat came out, and you had the NES version that didn't even have any type of. They changed a bunch of fatalities. No blood. It was sweat, because they had that whole games are destroying kids' lives thing. So you had to deal with that shit.
Well, I remember kids not being friends, because it's like hey, I play video games. I play video games, and like they just met each other, but like they're friends. Their friends are friends with each other, and it's like, cool. What do you play? And it's like, well, I play Sonic, and it's like, fuck you, Sega, piece of shit. It's like what? But like he's a gamer. No, fuck that guy. He likes Sega. Fuck that guy. I don't talk to Sega lovers.
Star Wars, Dykes of the Old Republic.
It's
Damn. Damn, Mark. Yes, I'm saying your name. Damn, Mark.
Mark. It starts with an H, his last name.
Oh my god, that's great.
Go into our group and find him.
Kirby's Cream Land.
Well,
man,
hold on. To mention Kirby, he does like to eat people up.
It's true. With that mouth, man. Mrs. Kirby must be happy.
He sucks people in.
Yeah. You just see like, yeah. He knows what he's doing, man. He got skills.
Woo!
Another William Volk submission, Altered Boobs.
Well, that's too accurate, bro. Especially for porn.
That'd be a great name for breast enhancement surgery. Like if you that's what
you have a clinic. Actually, that would be awesome for a guy that's a plastic surgeon that has a clinic and he goes to a gaming or a comic book convention and he has a booth. Altered boobs.
In computer games, have you ever gotten fooled like that? I remember, look, the Spider-Man game that came out for like, I guess it was all three. It was Commodore, Atari ST, and Amiga. In the end, I liked it, but when you originally look at the game, it looks so awesome. It has like the full box picture of Spider-Man, and it's like, oh, Spider-Man versus Mysterio. Fight through Mysterio's workshop or whatever. And then when you play the game, it's like Spider-Man's that big.
No, yeah, he's a little tiny. You can barely see anything.
That game was hard as fuck too.
Oh, no, yeah, that game was almost. It was some. Well, no game is ever as hard as Mission Impossible on the Commodore 64, but it was almost that hard. But what I liked about it was like the music. So even though the game sucked, you're like, man, I'm getting into this groove. That was about it.
I mean, damn. I mean, you also had just hard freaking games that you didn't have. Oh, and that's another thing people may not remember is I guess if you played like Xbox Arcade or the PlayStation equivalent, maybe you saw some of this because for some reason they decided to add these to some of the games. But remember those games where they would only give you a certain amount of continues and a certain amount of lives, and that was like once you ran out of that, that was it. It wasn't like, oh, keep continuing and maybe you start back at the beginning of the mission. No, you got 5 continues, maybe 5 lives per continue. That's it. If you don't beat the game, too bad.
Game
back
over.
To the beginning.
Permanent game over. Well, think about this. I mean, you don't even have to go back that long to even see some games that still had that. The 2000 version of Aliens versus Predator had limited lives and limited saving.
Oh God!
Like, oh, let me quick save. Cool. Like, I remember the first time I'm playing it, I'm like, man, this game's supposed to be really fucking hard. All right, let me save. And then it's like 2 saves left. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
2 saves left. What is this? Running out of hard drive space? You have to save like really strategically.
Yeah, the worst part is when you played some of those old, computer or console games, and it was hard, but it was a game that was supposed to be fun, like Addams Family, and you're getting your ass kicked in that game, and you're like, you feel worse because if it's like a ninja game or Contra or something like that, even Battletoads, you at least are like, okay, well, I expect it in this environment for the type of game I'm playing. But when
Wait, are you talking about a game that ends friendships?
Well, I've had a lot of that, but I'm just saying when you play a game like Bart Simpson, and you can't beat it, and you're just getting your ass kicked by a Bart Simpson game, you're like, you just feel worse than you would with a normal game. It just takes something from your ego, and it hurts more than like a normal ass whooping from a game that you think is more worthy to whoop your ass.
Well, I mean, even some mainstream stuff would just basically, like, if you were bad, the game just shit on you, like Mega Man. And again, like, even if you were good, the game shit on you. Most of those early Mega Man games, it's like, unless you were basically, unless you were Japanese, you were dead. Like, you didn't even have to be like, dude, you had to be the chosen one to beat that shit like for the first time.
Rise of the Womb Raider.
Oh.
Wow. Is that a Planned Parenthood game?
Well,
too soon.
That's prego porn, right?
Girthworm Jim.
Who posted that one?
that was Paul.
Oh.
Let's see. Girthworm Jim, World of Wankcraft. Well, they did make a porno based off of World of Warcraft.
Oh, no, yeah. And most of those movies are actually better than their original content most of the time.
Final Fantasy Black Tits. Damn, Mark. I gotta see if that's a real one, because damn, that'd be great. Well, I guess they can't use Final Fantasy, but damn, that's good. Assassin's Creed. Oh my God, William Oak, Ashes of the Pacific. Damn. Wait, wasn't that in a Band of Brothers episode? The second one?
Oh, well, no, in the Pacific.
Yeah, that was just called the Pacific. That's correct.
Steven Spielberg, don't sue us. We take it back.
Wait. This is a good one. Tie Fister. Wow. Good Lord.
Damn, dude.
All the way from Singapore. We got The Need for Seed. Yeah. Some artificial insemination going on there.
Well.
Starcock. Okay. Wow.
I think that's an actual movie.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's see what else we got here. Well, someone just put Afterburner, which, you know what? Even though that's the actual name of the game, wow.
But that
yeah, that again, that sounds like one of those niche type of games, because I don't know. If you saw a porno named Afterburner, what do you think you're going to be watching? I can guarantee you it's nothing good.
Well, I'm just waiting. I mean, you remember back in the Alienware days, the most fucked up conversations we would have, where I was saying, like, the future of porn is gonna just be, oh fuck, yeah, I forgot. I had predicted what Twitch TV was gonna be, basically, which was just a bunch of like hot chicks sitting around naked playing video.
Oh yeah.
It was almost that before Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon came in and they ruined everything.
Afterburner, I could just imagine some porn girl just sitting there around playing the game, and it's like, oh my God, the airplane just spins. She has an orgasm.
It's two screens. Like one section of the screen is just a plane spinning, and the other picture is just her like, ah!
I mean, how not safe for work are we gonna make this show?
I'm trying to keep a line. I'm trying, but
I mean, say she was in. Okay, it was like a naked woman in one of those, like, I don't know if you remember, but Afterburner had that like full 360 rotation machine in the 80s.
Oh yeah, that was badass.
So she's naked in one of those with like a a vibrator. Like, fuck the line, right? Just fuck the line.
Instead of the joystick, which you just hold, it's like you have to insert it. You have to sit on it, and that's how you control it.
And she's like playing in that machine, and like whenever you get hit in that game, like it shakes the whole machine. So she's playing bad on purpose.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. It's like, why do you keep putting so many quarters in the crash? Don't bother me. I know what I'm doing. All right, play as you will. Play as you will.
Oh my god! There, we created a new fetish community.
Hey, maybe that's what you can open up, a Dave and Buster for sex games. That'd be great.
Oh
Just
my
the whole
god!
bit.
I don't even want to think about how bad that place would smell.
Oh, well, it smells pretty bad already. So I don't know. It's something about mixing adults, video games, beer, and cheap food.
What's the worst thing that could happen?
This video is brought to you by Dave and Buster's. Please don't sue.
This episode brought to you by Pornhub.com.
All right, so another thing, and we can come back to the topic of the difference between back in the day and now, but another topic that I saw, and it was interesting because I ended up wanting to get more expanded, feedback on this because I wasn't sure if it was just something that you see in the message board or if more gamers felt this way. But apparently, word is out that for some of the exclusive content that was coming out or is coming out for the Xbox, they're going to go ahead and release it for games for Windows or, for PCs. And it doesn't seem like that should be a problem because it's like, okay, so what? If you have an Xbox, you can play it. If you don't, if you have a PC, you can play it. And part of this was kind of a spillover from Ubisoft because Ubisoft was basically talking about how, certain games are not going to add enhanced features that would look better on a PC. So they have to tone it down, in other words, so that when you play it on an Xbox and you play it on a PC, it's comparable. And, of course, PC gamers are like, fuck that shit. I bought top-end processor, all this RAM, high-end video card. You need to release a game that allows me to get the most out of my system, which I completely understand. And also I think it's laziness if you just decide to be like, oh, get a port and you barely do any change to it. Like when the Halo port came out, it was shit because it's like, really?
Oh, no, yeah, I remember. I mean, that was during the time that Jose and I were at Alienware, and I remember we would get like people coming in to chat and being like, okay, like I can run like what the fuck were they playing? Like it's like I can run Unreal Tournament 2004 and I'm getting 200 frames per second. And I'm playing, I'm running Halo and I'm getting 20 frames per second, and we were like, well, we never made that game. So
yeah.
Just fucking throw it away, basically.
It's like, look, it's not our fault that the developers, phoned it in.
I saw a video lately by Jim Sterling, and he was talking about how bad some of these console ports are for PC. In the sense that they I don't know if you remember the first time that they had ported Final Fantasy games for PC. How fucking terrible they were.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I bought some of them to play them. And I literally got stuck in a part where I couldn't progress any further because of a game bug.
Oh, shit.
And I fucking bought the game. And like back then, Steam didn't have like refunds or anything like that. So I was just like, you know what? Never again. But apparently they're still doing that kind of shit. Or like they're doing stuff where I don't remember the name of the game right now, but it's a JRPG, and some guy running the emulated version is getting like quadruple the frame rate of the same game. And then on top of that, he modified some of the game code, and he basically was getting the same amount of frame rates from the same port with like a mod he made that took him like fucking 10 minutes to make. And it's one guy doing it for fun, not a company that sells games and keeps all the money from it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's like kind of like, I mean, you see what people do with mods for Skyrim, for Fallout. I mean, someone made a dick one for Fallout 4. I mean, I guess equality is a motherfucker. Because it's like, we have boobs, now we need penises. Though, I don't know, they were kind of generous. It was a white guy that made that, because I was looking at some of the pictures, I was like, nah, man, that ain't right. Like, did they have a black mod version of it? Because I didn't see it. It would be an add-on, not a mod.
Well, I just like one of those pictures that I saw of it. It was a guy in full arm or whatever. It's
yeah. Hey, well, if you think about it, turnabout's fair play. When you have women's armor where it barely covers anything, yeah, I guess this is the man version. He's like,
oh my god, dude.
Look at the true source of my power right here. Right here. I mean, look, it's kind of like, what was it, Braveheart? Where they turn around and they flash with the kilts. So, I mean, just think about it. If you're in war and you see a guy running and he has full armor, but that thing's just flopping at you, I mean, I'd be scared too. I'd run the other way. I'd drop my arms. I'm like, look, I'm not fighting this war anymore. These people are coming at us with armors and cock. I guess that could be another porn name for our list, armors and cock. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah,
I don't know. For some reason, that made me think about this fucking weird movie that I love called Duel to the Death. That if you, it's such a weird movie that, like, I think one of the few ways, other than if you're lucky enough to have it on disc, you can actually probably watch it on YouTube for free, because that's how my friends usually watch it. But the whole movie's about Japan versus China. They're sending their best swordsmen to do this Mortal Kombat tournament in China, right? And one of the characters is a Shaolin monk. And the thing is, unlike actual Street Fighter, because it's a lot, I guess, like the storyline of Street Fighter, or like Mortal Kombat, the people on their way to the tournament are murdering each other, right? And one of the characters is a Shaolin monk, and he's like, just like what you would expect a Shaolin monk to be, right? He's pious and he's fucking celibate and all this shit. And all of a sudden, this giant ninja that's about 200 feet tall is following him.
What?
And it's a ninja Voltron, right? And then it's following him, and he's like, oh shit! Like, apparently it sneaked up on him, which is beyond logic, right?
200-foot ninja sneaks up on him.
Yeah, just think about that, right? And then like it falls apart, and it falls apart into a group of 60 naked women that are assassins. And that's their distractionary tactic. They're naked all the time.
That's a Trojan horse like a motherfucker right there.
Yeah, so guys are checking them out, but this is a fucking Shaolin monk. He's celibate, right? But as soon as he sees them, he goes like this, and he's like, Buddha be praised. Like he's thanking God for this challenge. So it's kind of like that. I mean, just imagine if some trolls, if some game companies maybe like aren't so nitpicky about censoring every fucking thing for online gaming, and they allow people to run maybe like cosmetic mods or like special skins on their characters. So just imagine playing something like Team Fortress 2 and people are just running around with like cocks everywhere.
It would take teabagging to a whole new level.
Oh.
Could you imagine? You get shot in Call of Duty, and every time you die, you have to turn your head from the screen. You're like, no, because you know what's coming.
Well, I want
asses and cocks and balls.
I want to see a skin where basically it's like the naked fat guy from Borat.
Oh god!
And instead of his testicles being there, it's an actual teabag that you make tea with.
It's a special censor version when you upload your gameplay to YouTube.
Oh yeah, and automatically your account gets banned, basically.
Yeah.
It looks like we forgot to take our meds today before doing.
Well, that makes the show better though.
Okay.
Let's see what else we got here. Candy Cunt Saga.
Oh.
That's worth the, what is it, 14 million or whatever they paid for it. Definitely.
Well, more than Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. And the
More than
Marvel
all.
franchise. Jizz of War.
Oh god.
Maybe that's part 2 to that ninja movie.
Well, I don't know if you saw the. There's a God of War porn movie. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, but I
I
could
mean, I
definitely
haven't
see
seen
that.
it, but I saw a clip of it, and the guy
I mean, yeah.
like I don't know if you saw that. I think it was a PlayStation 3 commercial, like when the PlayStation 3 first came out, and they had the God of War guy there. He looked more in the porn movie like the character than he did in the actual Sony commercial.
Hey man, those porn companies don't play, man.
They don't fuck around, dude.
Yeah, man.
Like I don't know if you saw that the Scooby Doo one. They actually look exactly like they do in the cartoon.
Damn.
By the way, go watch it.
You're like, could you imagine that day though? You're there playing God of War, and you're like, all right, I'm done playing, and you just, you get that moment, and anyone that watch porn, and all you people that claim you don't, you're freaking liars. You get that moment where you're just there like, so what I'm gonna do now, and you start looking at wherever you're porn, you get your porn at, whether you have a porn stash somewhere or you just go on your computer, and then you just start clicking around, and you're like, I wonder what's going on Kotaku. Next thing you know, you're on Pornhub or some shit like that. That's the same way. And you're like, I need to keep in the realm of gaming. I'm going to look up some God of War porn. Oh, wow, they have it.
Yeah,
Of course they have Tomb Raider porn. I mean, that's classic. They've been had Tomb Raider porn. So.
Oh, my God.
So with that story that we were talking about with scaling from console to PC, there are also some people who are saying to themselves, "Oh, it's not worth it," like it's Microsoft conceding losing this round of the console wars to PlayStation by doing this, and it's like, okay, I can understand if your argument maybe is that if you have both a high-end PC and an Xbox One, and then say, Forza comes out for both, and then that maybe the one for the PC, there might be mods and extra tracks or something more, then I can understand in that case you say to yourself, well, I may buy that instead of what I would have bought for Xbox. But I don't think it devalues the Xbox. And you had some people saying that they're not going to buy any Xbox games anymore. They're done with Xbox just because Microsoft said they're going to do this change. And I'm like, if you're buying a console just for exclusive content, you're doing something wrong.
Oh, also, another thing that they're fucking dumb, dude. Like, I mean, I'm just one guy, but if I had a fucking company, I would probably do this. Why don't they just allow, like, okay, if you want to concede that maybe the system's not doing that well, and it's like, yeah, well, like they're basically admitting, hey, guess what? The Xbox One is basically like, it's almost like a PC, right? Because it shares a lot of components with it, and it's pretty much that. And especially like if they're gonna just be like, they push a button and that's it. They have the PC version automatically made for a game. Just allow maybe like do like a fucking operating system update for the or not even that, like a little program, an app you download for the console, and then you have a file manager. And if basic copying and pasting shit and like extracting, you could just download those mods for the PC and make it work with the console version of the same fucking game. Because if it uses the same code, then it should be similar enough. It's not running some crazy shit like some RISC architecture like PlayStation really does. You know what I mean? You're in the Xbox.
Yeah, and if you're able to play those games together, or you're able to play one on the other, then if you're, let's say, you're a PlayStation 4 owner, you're going to be like, oh, well, I don't need to get the Xbox anymore. I mean, it's hard to say. It's business, right? So obviously you want to have something that is competitive so that this one wins over the other one. But at the same time, I still think back to where it originally started with Xbox with Nintendo and Sega. And you got to think to yourself, in the end, and someone did mention this in some of the comments and on Reddit, that it kind of ends up cheating gamers in a way, because you're so focused on fighting between which one's better that you don't realize you all lose. Because if it was more together, you could have some power. Like if someone fucks you over, like what happened with Arkham Knight.
Oh
Um,
wow. Yeah.
you know, well, where they they change it around and it's like, oh, look at this, it comes out for PC. Oh my God, it's broken. Okay, we're gonna fix it. Oh my God, it's still broken. But people are so into saying, "Oh, look, I'm on PlayStation side. I'm on Microsoft side. Oh no, I'm a PC gamer." I mean, we could play around and say which one do we think is better or make jokes, but when it gets to the point where you can get screwed over by the company because they know they can play gamers against each other, I guess that's what they mentioned on the Facebook group, that it kind of messes up the community, and it's easy to get gamers to fight. So you throw a little red meat into the conversation, and boom, everyone starts fighting against each other, it was just sad
Well,
because
think about this. Some of the fighting, I think it's hype. It's basically like the hardware companies themselves are starting shit, like fucking brainwashing people, like, oh, fuck anybody else that doesn't use the system you use, right? Because think about this: if you're out there and you're talking about, oh, I play PlayStation, fuck those Xbox guys, right? Well, if you write that and you put it out on the internet, I mean, I could tell you, because a lot of the stuff that we try to do sometimes to generate traffic, like sometimes we'll ask a question just to see what the fuck people say, right? But just think about that. You're writing that shit and putting it out there. That's making people talk more about their product. That's the only fucking point to talking about it regarding the company. You're giving their product free advertising. That's about it. So like, even if they're, even if the person's talking about some fucking thing they don't really care about that much, even if you're barely talking about it, it's almost like politics. Just go on Facebook and mention anything about politics, and I'll bet you that you'll have like a fucking. It's the same thing. It's free posting of material, which will, like, if you have the right group of people, then like, yeah, oh look, a flame war started. But like, if they share it on their wall, it's like a viral fucking post.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing is, they know how to play against people just because there's a legacy of that. You have people that were playing games for a long time, and now they grew up with the whole Nintendo versus Sega thing. I mean, I remember the commercials where it was basically said that Nintendo is supposed to be for kids. And they would use things like, oh, Sonic is all edgy and wild, and Mario is for kids. And then, of course, with the Mortal Kombat thing, it was like, oh, look, we have blood and we have the real fatalities, and Nintendo doesn't. And, even people, I remember one of the debates over a silly game, the Aladdin game, where it was more of a platformer on the SNES, but on the Sega game, it was kind of more like a mixture of a fighter and an action side-scroller. And
yeah,
that continued with Nintendo. Like, Nintendo kept that label of the family for kids, and they kind of almost just ran with it. Even though you had obviously other games that were really good, Metroid and Resident Evil series and things like that. I mean, before PlayStation came into the picture. But it was like, man, this is how you play people against each other, is to get them to be like, oh, you're playing Nintendo? Oh, you're a child. You gotta be cool like us and play Sega. And now we have, Xbox versus the PlayStation. And at least in this time, you did see some people kind of cross over because of the horrible launch that Microsoft had with the Xbox One, where you had people who were longtime Xbox fans. They're like, look, I don't care. I'm going to end up playing, I'm getting a PS4 because it's better. It doesn't do all this stuff. And in the end, what happened? Microsoft had to reverse a bunch of their policies, like not allowing you to trade games and stupid stuff like that. And that's because enough people actually came together and said, we're not going to let this shit happen. So that should have been like an idea right there. Like, wait a minute. We were actually able to make positive change in the gaming industry by saying, we're not gonna accept this shit. But the problem is that not enough people do that.
I mean, look, the people wanted us to troll. I could just troll everybody right now because regarding the whole debate about consoles versus PC versus arcade and all that shit, fuck it, arcade lost, right?
Yeah.
But regarding the final verdict, eventually, pretty much, you could say that PCs and mobile are the winners, right? Because let's pretend we're looking at this video 10 years from now, right? Who the fuck cares what the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One were, right? Other than you're launching them through an emulator on your phone or your PC 10 years from now.
Yeah, right?
So ultimately, that's going to win because pretty much since the PC and maybe the mobile stuff from in the future, they're going to have the best programmers and the best hardware. And they're going to be able to emulate all that other stuff. That now you're fighting like it's like a holy war about pretty much you're gonna have like 8 of your 100 CPU cores running that game at, I don't know, 120 frames per second better than the original console ever did. So that's, if you wanted me to troll, that's what's gonna end up happening. That's what historically has forever happened.
Yeah, you could fit the entire SNES and NES library on your phone and play it. So
yeah,
you think that won't happen with the Xbox and PlayStation games? I mean, that's what's gonna happen. I mean, like you said, the Xbox is more computer than anything else anyway. So it's just, in a way, it's kind of like a computer for dummies.
Yeah, sort of.
I mean, let's face it. It kind of reminds me. Speaking about old back in the day, do you remember when they came out with that? It was basically a computer, but it basically only had a web browser on it, and they sold it.
Are you talking about web TV?
Yes, they sold it to like grandmas, and it was like, it's like, hey, do you have cataracts and you need to send email to your son? Do you know what email is? We do. Buy web TV, and it wasn't even expensive. I think it was like $99, which sounded good. But
wasn't it Microsoft that made that shit?
I think Microsoft at least had a version, but I remember some other company had some other one too. Because I remember at the end they were talking about it.
It's the gaming computer equivalent of a jitterbug phone.
Yes, exactly. Look,
I'm falling. I can't get up. Let me push the police button.
Yeah, I mean, look, I do think that gamers should come together. I definitely believe that. But let's be honest here. Console gamers are playing jitterbug. That's what it is. They even have the big gigantic button. Oh, you want to go to the home screen? Big gigantic button because, anything with mouse and keyboard, that's too hard. You need to have these little set buttons.
Let me give you my prediction, and I'm not going to try to troll you guys.
More than we have.
I read a lot of technology shit, and I can already tell what the fuck's going to happen. More than likely, console is just going to fucking disappear because it's getting down to a point where you have an entertainment system basically being run out of a smart TV right now. So it's going to come down to the point that you're going to buy a TV from Sony and it's going to come bundled with a PlayStation 5 as a chip on your TV. And you're never even going to buy a console. You're just going to be downloading games on your TV through your fucking TV. And that's pretty much it.
Didn't OnLive try that and they went out of business? That was so sad.
No, what they tried was a system where you wouldn't install a game and you would play a game from a cloud server that was running the game for you.
Yeah, and then you would have lag problems, saving problems.
Lag like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I could see it working with like maybe a strategy game, but if you were a person that plays strategy games, more than likely you're already playing it on a PC that isn't necessarily a fast PC. You're just playing like a Paradox game on like a fucking Pentium 4 and you're running it at 100 frames per second. So
I love those jitterbug commercials. They have the old person, finally a phone for me, and each letter or each number for the phone is like gigantic. It's like a big tile. You're like, hey.
That's like a little kid's phone, like a Fisher Price phone for like a baby. God damn it, dude.
You have my first phone, and then for the old people, my last phone.
What? Son of a bitch.
Wait,
yeah, we're skip go straight to hell.
Wait, we have some more for our video game porno.
Oh.
Let's see. We have duck cunt. Wow. That's for the farm fetish, I guess. We got the Bang Her Saga.
Oof.
Alone in the Dark. Hey, that works. Another one. We ring the bell for you because Alone in the Dark. Yeah, I mean, let's face it. If the stereotype true, a lot of gamers, that's exactly what they are. Alone in the Dark.
Well, okay, hold on. Alone in the Dark. Questions. Is that basically like a porno of somebody just masturbating alone in the room, or is that a porno of like they get home, the lights are off because somebody cut the power to the house, and then they get raped or something? Okay, never mind.
No. How it works is
this is beyond the scope of what we said.
Yeah, you just hear the noise. Like you walk into this mansion and you just hear different sounds of people masturbating, and the key is to get out of that place alive. Well, or dry, I guess would be the challenge. We have Gears of War. Okay. Poke Your Mom, Anal Sapphire Edition.
That's weird.
Circle Gets a Square. Call of Booty, Black Cox 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's specific.
Taking hardcore to a whole new level. Let's see. Fur Burger Time. Mass Wreck. I just love how some people didn't get that we said to make it less vulgar.
Yes.
And they just come in with rape play. Yes, thanks, guy. Thank you.
Oh, no, yeah.
Thank you for not getting what we're trying to do here. Thanks. Jeez.
Same.
Metal Rear Solid Snake Eater. Oh man, Cock Lifter.
Oh,
I guess that goes along with the Fallout 4 mod. Yeah, it's like they make it so big. It's a mini game. I just can't believe that they actually had a game called Penetrator. I didn't know about that. The 48K Spectrum game.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh shit, Penetrator.
Yeah, I think I played that one.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that's the game.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Oh man. Yeah. So, keep submitting these. I mean, these are awesome. I have to say, we have a good group. I mean, there's a ton of replies to this. So I'm glad that you guys and gals that are at work are able to post these awesome things on the group. You guys help make the group awesome. So I just want to tell you that.
And I'm glad that most of you haven't been fired.
Yes.
For posting these from work.
Yeah, try not to get fired because that'll mean that you're probably less likely to participate in the group. So
wow.
Well,
that's
okay,
the only reason, right?
Maybe not the only reason. It's one of the upper reasons. Okay, I'm just trying to be honest with everybody here. Okay, there's another question that we had on the group, and if anybody wants to find this group, it's facebook.com/groups/ObsoleteGamer. So go check that out. We guarantee that your work day, your school day would be a little more fun with what we do. And like we said on our shows here, we will bring up what's going on in the channel. But one of the people asked a question. Oh, no, I actually asked this question. I said, if you could marry a video game character, who would you pick? And what would make the best spouse. And this kind of came about from one of our other shows where we were talking about what it'd be like if we had any video game character. Now I said spouse because it's for men or ladies, whatever. You know, if whoever you want to marry, it doesn't matter. We don't care. We're not Donald Trump. So I said right away.
Goddamn, dude.
I had to throw that in. I said that if you're a guy who values your free time, Princess Peach would be a great spouse because she's always out of the house, you know, because she's always being kidnapped and all. And, you know, some of the people responded saying, hey, you know, even if you didn't, and if you didn't have anything else to do, you could decide to go rescue her. So that's a good thing to do, like for those couples that need space. You're like, okay, well, the princess got kidnapped, so now I have time to myself.
Well, think about this. If you married Princess Peach and you were like a gold digger, that would be like the perfect one to marry, right? Because you know that she's gonna get kidnapped, and you have all the fucking money, and you're in a castle basically like having sex with escorts all day.
Well, if you think about it, Princess Peach has to kind of be a gold digger because look at all those coins that you're finding on the way to rescue her. She was dropping that shit out of her purse, and then when you rescue her, she's just like, "Thanks, Mario." So it's like you don't even get anything in the end. So,
wow.
I just love what one of the contributors put. He said, "My theory is Bowser isn't kidnapping her. He's saving her from an abusive relationship, but she keeps going back to Mario, the mushroom-addicted Pyro, and his lunatic, death-staring brother." And then he said it's a Lifetime movie in the making. I could definitely see, you know, maybe College Humor parodying that. That'd be great.
Actually, they did. I'll try to find it later for you so that you post it on the video. It's a series of live action Super Mario Brothers movies that they did. I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh yeah. And there was one where
we'll post it in the description if you guys want to check that out.
Yeah, I remember there's one where like Mario was addicted. He's addicted to the fire flower.
Yeah, and he's like, ooh, he's like a crackhead in an alleyway.
Let's see, other spouses. Someone said cooking mama, which
that was Gavin.
Yeah, which is great, you know, for the people that really need to have those home cooking. Mark went with Elizabeth from from BioShock Infinite.
Oh, that is a fucked up answer.
Wait, I thought she was underage. Someone called me out on that in one of the shows, saying she was like 17 or 16 or something. I don't know.
She was like 16 years old.
But you gotta remember that was in, you know, Trump land, so that's okay. It's all right back then to be that young.
Well, the thing is, everything in BioShock Infinite is fucked up. So I think pedophilia doesn't even matter in that universe because it's. I mean, look, you know the intro to the game. It's like they're throwing fucking rocks at a mixed race couple.
Yeah.
And they're clapping, you know, and that's
carnival games in that city.
Everything in that game is fucked up.
Yeah. Did you throw the rock?
I'm not Trump.
You just have like a mod for that game. That's all it is. It's just a bunch of different interracial.
The other enemies of mixed couple.
It's just Trump throwing. He's like throwing like gold coins at him or something.
He does GP Rain.
Our friend Road Racer said, "Oh please, any guy who picks anyone besides Lara Croft or Cooking Mom has no clue." Now imagine if Lara Croft could cook. I don't know. I mean, look, she's a Tomb Raider, right? And she can kick your ass. She can shoot you. And plus, she has people coming after her. So just think about it, okay? For all you guys who still have that misogynistic thing and you want to be the breadwinner or whatever, that ain't happening with Lara Croft because she'll whoop your ass. And then you have to stay at her mansion. And she'll probably make you run through her little training thing that she does really easily, but you suck at. And then people will come to the mansion thinking that she's there. And probably beat
well,
her.
Think about this. I don't know if you ever saw Parks and Recreation, but that's what I would imagine that marriage to be like. You're the Chris Pratt character in the beginning of Parks and Recreation. You have like a broken leg and you just sit in the couch all day playing video games. Babe, Get me another pizza, babe. Cook me this, babe. So, I don't know. That's a good option if you basically want to do nothing for the rest of your life.
We had some ladies give their opinion. Cullen from Dragon Age 3 said he's traditional, adorable, loyal, strong-willed. Okay, I mean, you could definitely see the difference between the women and the guys. We're going for boobs and cooking. The women, they're like, yeah, the women are going for like a sensitive guy that they actually can settle down and have a meaningful life with. We're like, look, just show the boobs and cook the food. So yeah, I guess some of those stereotypes, they stay true. Especially the person that put the picture of the stripper from Duke Nukem. That was just
dance.
It's like, man, as soon as I saw her, I was in love. I kept telling her to shake it, baby, and she kept shaking it. I knew we had that connection. Oh, man.
Product placement for Tootsies in Miami.
Oh, man. Someone was talking about one of those dating sims. What was that game that was like that? You had told us about that, where it was a game where you had to try to convince the girl to like you, and you kept...
Oh, Honey Cutie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a game that's all about balancing lies just to get women to sleep with you. And the thing is, it's because I mean the game doesn't directly talk about it, but if you're paying the slightest amount of attention, you notice this. The guy is specifically going for women that know other women. So like it might be the girl's best friend. And then like I guess the guy knows so little about women that he doesn't know that women talk to each other about stuff. So like it's like, I guess in his mind the woman's not saying to the other.
Oh, we lost your audio.
Oh, okay.
Something happened.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, yeah. So the guy never assumes that the woman's gonna talk to her friend about the guy basically having sex with her last night. Did you say Johnny? I went out with him last night also. And it's like, oh, like the whole time I was playing that game, I thought like the game was gonna end with murder happening.
Yeah.
Well, the game
These females communicate?
Oh my god, dude. I mean, to me, that game is up there with like really uneasy because it's like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Oh man. So yeah, we need more submissions. So come on, give us good stuff to read, and we'll discuss it. As well as any real topics as well that you guys want to see us look into or discuss. We'll also do that as well. So continue to give us good material because this stuff is great. I mean, there's a lot of cool pictures and stuff on the Facebook group page that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so, and I mean on top of that, we're gonna be having within the next month shows of topics that people were asking about that we're gonna have people from the group that already said that they're gonna come on and talk about. The upcoming show that where we're gonna talk about female gamers and ask them a bunch of questions that from so that we see things from their perspective because yeah, it's it's the fucking internet and usually especially like guy gamers like to troll female gamers for some stupid reason. But a lot of women play games. So we're here to debunk some of that bullshit that people always say.
Yeah, so we definitely need more submissions for our Ask a Gamer Girl segment. So head over to our group and leave your questions. Just keep it classy, guys. Keep it classy, because We gotta try not to be as stereotypical as mainstream would make us out to be. Only a little bit.
Well, so far they're being civilized because I posted that clip of RoboCop 2 of behave yourselves.
Yeah. We gotta do that every time we need to make sure that the people in the group do a certain thing. We need a clip from something, and then that'll work. It soothes the savage beast.
Yeah, even if it's some random fucking nonsense like the scene in Predator when Arnold goes up to Carl Weathers for the first time and he's like, I haven't seen you in a while. What's wrong, CIA? Got you pushing too many pencils? He's like, you son of a bitch. You know, the epic handshake. I don't know if you guys ever seen the videos where they do the epic handshake and then a fucking nuke goes off.
I've seen that. That's awesome. We'll put that on the group too. So
yeah,
see,
for no fucking reason.
Yeah, just cause it's awesome. If it's awesome, it goes in.
Yeah.
You know, we'll put in all types of stuff like RNG, things like that. So we don't want to confuse anybody with.
Don't get me started with RNG.
RNG, because
I'm not gonna talk about it, but just go look at the post.
Yeah, go check that out.
Not troll.
All right, so we're gonna be back soon with another episode. So keep coming, keep watching, keep posting.
Keep trolling.
We'll be back. Yeah, keep trolling, especially the trolls. Yeah, we like the trolls. All right, peace out.